Good morning, welcome back to MD Model Works. Now I hope you enjoyed the video for doing the gloss black base, then the metallics, then the aqua gloss, then we finish off with the finishing coat of clear coat gloss, which was ALP 310. Now what did I just do with that? Oh, here it is. This is the result, as you could see. Now what I'm going to do now, I haven't tried this, this is just a bit of a turn away from what we normally used to do, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to scratch it with my nail. You can hear that I'm scratching it quite hard. The clear coat gloss has dried and has left with what I would call, unless you're going to absolutely wreck it, an unscratchable finish. Now she's rock hard and I'm quite happy. So anyway, that's a by the by, just to let everybody know that what's happened. Right, and what I did. Okay, so we're back to our Revell stroke Dragon 1/32 Bf1 Messerschmitt Bf110 C-2. We've got, I glued it together, and to be truthful, I did plug in the new mic and I completely forgot to turn the mic on. So that's where my problem started. But I did show you to do it. All you do is hold it together. This literally clicks in. After you listen to a person or reading a review saying make sure you glue the cockpit together, as I did, put her in together and she clicked together. So I am extremely happy with that. So all I'm going to do now, I've got a Flory Models sand and sponge, which to be truthful has been my go-to sponges and sanders for, well, basically since I started. I used to watch a lot of Flory stuff. It taught me a lot, so which I'm very pleased about. I tend not to watch it nowadays, but I suppose I should sometimes. So what I'm going to do, we're going to get rid of this seam line, or start to, and see what we got. So there's no pressure going down on the sand and sponge, and all we're going to do is just gradually go down using the slightly rougher side of the sand and sponge all the way to the bottom of the fuselage, and then work our way up again. All this time we're not putting any pressure on. All we want to do is take the raised part off that we put down. When you use Tamiya extra thin, what it does, it's not a glue which holds the how can I put it, it's a welding glue, it's a hot glue, what we call a hot glue. It goes down the center line, you just run it in, and then as you wiggle it, you create the styrene bonds together, and it creates a really good fused strong join, almost as if the plastic was in one, like you would use a welder. So just rubbing it down gently. No pressure on her at all. Then we turn the sponge onto the softer area, or the less rough, I should say. Going to bring it down and literally just keep going right the way through until it feels like it's reasonable. Now I'm going to do this off camera, the rest of this side. You're not going to bother seeing all that. You can see what I did there. Then I'll come back and show you a little trick to check your seams. Right, back in a mo. Right, okay, so that's both the underseam, the seam on the bottom of the fuselage and the top seam have been roughly sanded, but now I want to see what's going on. So what we do, or what I tend to do, and what I learnt years ago, was to get some Tamiya paint, fairly well thinned, and just paint it down the seam. Now what this will do, it will act as a filler as well. It will dry quick and it'll be easy to sand off, but what it does, it'll show what the paint's going to look like when you've actually airbrushed onto it. So what this does, as I said, it acts as a filler, and it'll give you some idea of how well you've done the seams. We'll turn her over and just lay it down. Obviously there are pegs where the sprue gates went on that I tend to cut them a little bit further away so they don't cripple or indent into the actual model. So what I do, I cut them a little bit further away, then sand them down. Some are still left, but I tend to like leaving them that long, and then with the sanding process, when you actually clean up like this, you'll see what I'm on. Right, I've got to leave that to dry. I'm going to get some bits for the next part sorted. We'll come back, we'll sand this down and put some other stuff together. Right, so we're back. So our paint is dry, our acrylic paint. We can see that there's a few little dimps and dumps and dips in the paintwork and the seam. So all we're going to do, excuse me, I'll move that up a bit, is to just gently sand away the paint. And what that's done, that's acting as a very fine filler, as well as given us a gauge to see where we're going. And you can see here with a slight dip, so we'll just keep sanding gently with a sponge. I also have this sponge from Mr. Flory, which is a little bit stronger, and I'm going to use that because for some reason that one I've got is very warm, that other sponge. I've had that other sponge now for 6-7 years and it gets constant use. You can see the way it's faded. There's a brand new one here, so you can tell the difference. That's the difference. It's about 7 years difference. But I'm going to use this one. I must admit, Phil's range of sanders is a fantastic inclusion to anybody's model and toolbox, and well worth it. I think it's about £30, but you get such an array of sanding products in that it's absolutely superb. So that's the paint taken away, and all we're going to do now is use the other side and just give it a little polish. Just a little bit there which I missed, so we'll polish the rest off. I say polish, this is just a very fine grade. And then I've got this sanding sponge I'm going to use basically to polish up. And just going over it gently. no pressure, just cleaning things up. Right, then we have our buffer. This is superb. Right, all we do again is going over it, no pressure, just to buffer up. I'm just showing you this. I will put another line of paint on this in a little while. You don't want to see all that again. So we're doing it just to buff the plastic up. That's all we're doing. Blue side first, then the white side, and that brings the plastic up to a nice smooth finish. Okay, now by eye that's looking very good. So I'll do that side, I'll come back, and then we'll, using the Tamiya plastic scriber, or we call it a P cutter, we're going to replace any lines we might have lost to make it look correct. So I'll do that off camera, then we'll come back. Now I've done both sides, I've polished it up. I'm happy that there's no discrepancies between the seam. So what I'm going to do now, I did this twice by the way, just to make sure. I put another coat on, just gently rubbed it off and polished it up. So what we're going to do now, we're going to use some dyno tape. This stuff is fantastic for what we're now going to use it for. Just cut a little bit off. This is the worst part about using dyno tape, getting the backing off. Doodly doo, see what I mean? I've got, sorry, my nails are a little bit dirty this morning. I don't know why. It's probably because I've been sanding all morning. Doodly doo, that's it. Come on, off you come. I do get a bit frustrated with this part of it, but hey ho. Now, that's it. Okay. Dyno tape's quite sticky, so it does the job we want it to do extremely well. So we have a seam, but because we've sanded that seam down, some of the lines not been removed, but it's been lessened. So all we're going to do is just put the dyno tape across. We've got our Tamiya plastic scriber or P cutter. Be careful on eBay if you pick one of these up. At the moment, for some reason, the prices are going absolutely stupid. So I've had this one for 5 years. I've never changed the blade in it. So all we're going to do is just lay it on and gently pull it across, just putting back the line or the seam, the panel line that we've removed, using the dyno tape as a guide. Simple as that. It's the easiest seam panel line replacement that I know. If anyone knows better, please let me know. That's all we're going to do. I'm going to do this top bit, go all the way around, do the second bit at the back. I've yet to the front end I've got to sort out myself, but I'll do that in a moment. So you don't want to see me do all of this. It'll take me about 5-10 minutes to do, which will be a waste of video time. So I'll come back when this is done. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes down the line. I've rescribed top and bottom. I'm happy with the seams the way they are. I'll remove that one off camera later. Now we're going to do some gluing. So we're having a look. We've got quite a few bits and pieces to do and to fit on. As you can see, there's the few bits of gun and the ammo lines to do. So I want my tweezers because I know I'm going to need them. I've got my extra thin, and we've got our piece. Now this is all one colour and it is going to be hidden up, and it's going to, this part is going to slide just into there, which giving us something nice to connect on those two. Now, on a lot of kits of the 110, that piece there is the biggest pain in the butt to get together, if you can see that. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull that out of there. Ready? I want the gun, this part can go on first. No idea what this is. Oh, I know what it is. It's the extension part of the bottom guns. So all we're going to do, we're going to lay her in like so. We're going to get some extra thin and just let it flow down. Then all we're going to do is give it a touch. The beauty of extra thin is it's designed for the capillary action, so it runs right round. You can't, I don't think you'll be able to pick that up on camera, but there's now a lovely area that goes straight through here into the back, ready for the guns, which is on the side here to shoot out of. Bit of an odd placement for the guns at the bottom, I must admit, but I guess it works. So German engineering at one time was the best in the world, in my opinion. Right, so there are two types of gun here. It's saying to do the outsides first. It's always better just to place them in. I mean, the fit of this kit so far is very, very good. So I just want to see how hard it's going to be. Yeah, I can see where they said it now. Okay, right, good instructions. Always hard to come by, but these are pretty good. Right, so these are all got to face forward. We're doing the outside version first. So I believe they fit in there. Right, so one on each side, they're both exactly the same. So we just drop a little bit of glue in to get it started. And we'll just stand her in. Ready? Little touch down. Make sure they're lined up. Oh, then retouch it so you mess it up. Okay. Right, then the other side. Little drop straight in the holes. This one can go on that side. Shakes. Don't know why. Line them up. Let that set for a second. 2, 3. There's the front ones. While that's drying, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fit the front plate, the nose plate on the underneath, which goes in like so, and that will help create the right area that I need. Okay, so don't want too much glue. I would just touch, rub it along. It's basically the capillary action that's doing all the work here. Hold it for a few seconds. Make sure everything that we want is lined up. And then our bottom plate, just check to make sure. Yep, that clips in nicely. Okay, right. Just going to drop a little bit of glue down there. For some reason that's come away. That'll be fine. Let that set in there. line her up. I don't want to be no more sanding if I can help it. There you go. See, I warts and all on my videos. Not, oh, I'm perfect, because I'm not. Right, we're back to our front guns, front machine guns, whatever they are. I don't know a lot about machine guns. All I know is we want a little in there and a little in there. Then we stand one piece in. And the same on the other side. Now, I've never ever noticed this kit as a Dragon kit. I probably would have taken a lot of notice because they did, as far as I knew, they just mainly did armour. And I know their armour kits are superb from years ago. But just the way these fit, or from what I've seen so far, I mean, normally it's the wings, joins and all that sort of problem you usually get with poor kits, but so far this has been a dream to put together. So nearly got beaten by the carpet monster just then, but it didn't beat me for a change. Okay. Slide that in, push that through. So these are the ammo dispensers going in and on. Then we have our other pair of guns to go in there, which again are normal sided. And just get these in and make sure they're through. Yep, line them up, which, to be honest, putting the ammo cartridges in actually lines them up really well, so I'm going to do that straight away. Mr. Dragon, this is a brilliant piece of engineering. The way they've worked this is incredibly good. Very impressed. With the fit and the look. I can't say more than that. I know I keep harping on about it, but the only ME110 that I've built that actually fitted together nicely was the Airfix 172nd, which is over there missing a propeller. I need to get another propeller for her. But I did that one I used for the gloss black base demo was the Eduard 148 version, and I'm sorry, it did not fit very well. I'm not a person who, I don't mind fettling, I don't mind fitting and refitting and having to make things to join. What I don't like is when the original product is so far out. I mean, at the end of the day, we're modelers, we're not builders, so I shouldn't moan too much. But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, this is superb. It's really nice. Now all I want to do is slide her in just to make sure everything fits. And Would you look at that? Perfect, lovely. Okay, so that's ready for paint. I have the compressed air bottles for the ammo dispensers already done. I have just got to go across here just to make sure that's all settled, and so is the rear of the fuselage. Nice. Just got to take a little bit off that. Okay, right, we have what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that quickly because that's bugging me now. I've forgotten about it. Just the nose. I hope you can see that was off camera. And I'm just going to get it all cleaned up. Ready for the nose to join onto her when we've painted it. Like so. We'll have a look at this back section. Right, now this is the rear part of the cockpit, which slides on like so. Whoop, that was nearly the extra thing gone. Now we're just making sure that everything is lined up, because if this doesn't line up we're going to have problems, and it is lining up really well at the moment, how I want it. So that's going to be great. So we've got to paint the inside of that ready. We've got our nose ready, that's ready to be painted. So we'll just put, let me turn the instructions over. I need to make sure I get everything in the right place and the right thing, because the next part of this is away from that. We're on the engines, which I'm looking forward to. One of my favourite pieces. Okay. Right, we're just going to work out which way it goes. So the actual wing spar goes on and in like so. Again, a fantastic fit all round. Make sure this is level and down, because otherwise the wings are going to be odd. So just like that, we'll run some tack down there and at the front, both sides, along the side of the gun base. Just touch. If you do what I just did, can you see that there? I've got a tiny fingerprint. For some reason I had a little bit of tack on my finger. Don't know how it got there. Just rub it off. Just to polish, and it's gone. Nothing major. Right. And here we go again. That fits lovely. Now we have our bottom plate to fit. Got a slight part there I don't like. Very fine sanding stick. And again, that click, it's lovely, isn't it? Line one side up, and again touch and flow and hold, just for a few seconds. That's all it needs. The other side is perfect. Just touch and flow around it. That's the front edge sorted. Line it up and hold it in place. You could put elastic band around it. If the kit is as good as this, you probably won't need it. It's holding it nicely. Right, that's lined up perfectly in my opinion. That can be, a little bit of it can be, if there's any overhang, that can soon be sorted. And then I'm going to drop some in the gap, some glue down the gap, and too much, just touch it and let it flow, or just drag it along this part because there's not a lot of glue can get in there. It's a lovely tight fit. Everything on this kit seems to click together beautifully. If someone said to me build me one, I would, because this kit, I would do another one tomorrow once I started it, once I finished this, because it is that much of a good kit. Okay, so we can leave that to dry. Right, we're now ready to do some paint, so I'm going to let this be. I'll come back in a few minutes and we'll do the paint, or we'll start on the paint. Right.